guys, welcome to my August 8th DVD update. We talk about all the DVDs and Blu-rays I've gotten over the past probably 2.5 weeks. Now, I have not gotten to watch everything that I have. I have a whole bunch of other movies I haven't gotten to watch, but I'm so behind with this. I wanted to make sure I got this film now before I got even more behind, before I watched everything. At the end of the video, though, I will show the other things I have gotten, but then in the future update, like the next one, I actually get to talk about them. Now, the first one I got, there's all these discrepancies with this, that this was supposed to be on Blu-ray, and I originally had it pre-ordered on Amazon. Then the pre-order disappeared. It's quarantined too, but the pre-order disappeared. It was a nightmare. And then, like, no other sites had it listed for pre-order. So my take is, I guess originally it was supposed to be on Blu-ray. Then it was canceled. If anybody finds a Blu-ray anywhere, let me know. But it doesn't seem like they're actually going to put one out. I mean, I was trying to look at every site. I couldn't figure it out. But the movie is actually pretty decent. You know, for a direct-to-DVD sequel, I thought it was pretty good. It's about a group of, they're going on like one of those kind of smaller planes. It's going to, like one of those jets or something. I think the one that only holds like 50 people. And they're going on a quick flight. I think it's like, I don't know exactly where they're going to. But on the flight, basically, there's this guy that brings on something onto the plane, and one person gets infected, and he's this really cool fat guy. Who's like my favorite character. He's only in it for a little bit, though. But the cool fat guy gets infected, and then they end up having to, basically the fat guy goes crazy. They have to, like, you know, sedate him, and basically they have to land the plane. They land the plane at this terminal that's basically closed down for the night, and they end up getting kind of locked into the place. And it's kind of like the Quarantine, the first movie, how they all get, like, covered in with the plastic, and they can't leave, and they don't know what's going on, and no one's telling them anything. But, you know, I was impressed with this. I thought this was very well done. You know, it's a little cheesy in a few parts, but the gore was really, really good. And I realized it was the company that did the gore for Laid to Rest, Robert Hall's company. And, you know, they do really good gore, like really realistic. That was one of the best things, the gore and the makeup. But like I said, I would definitely check this out. You can get it at Walmart, I think, for like $15, and probably cheaper other places too. Like I said, too, about the Blu-ray, it doesn't seem possible to find. I'm guessing they probably canceled the thing, so I don't know what happened with it. The next one I got is from the After Dark Horror Fest series, The Task. And this was pretty good. I mean, a lot of people are saying they aren't getting it because they don't like the cover. Which is, I mean, it's a silly cover. It kind of looks a little bit like something out of Goosebumps or something with this kind of mask and stuff. And this mask doesn't really have much to do with the movie. It's basically a group of these, you know, 20-something-year-olds that it opens with them getting kidnapped off the streets, you know, and put in the back of this van, and they get taken out in front of this old, I think it was a jail, like a jail or nut house kind of thing. And they get out there, and then they're filming them. The guys with the mask are filming them saying, are you ready to die, and all this stuff. And then basically they find out that they auditioned for this game show months back, and they're basically, you know, have been picked to be in this game show. And the idea is that they have to, you know, they've done this kind of idea a lot, but they have to spend the night in, you know, the jail, and they each have these tasks that they have to complete. If they don't complete them, they're, you know, killed off, as they say. But technically, you know, it's supposed to be fake. But like a lot of these movies, things go wrong, and, you know, there's actually a real spirit or something in the, you know, the real killer actually killing them off. But, you know, it has an interesting ending to it. I'm not ruining anything about it, but it kind of ends the way a movie years in the 80s was. I'm not saying which one, but it ends the way that movie was supposed to end, but they didn't actually go with. So it's definitely interesting. I would definitely check it out. You know, it's not an amazing movie, but I actually really did like it. Now this one, you know, I didn't know what to think with this thing. George A. Romero's Dead Time Stories. And, you know, the two stories, two of them were pretty bad. I don't know. I didn't care for them. The best one I thought was the mermaid story. It was I thought the best put together story. And I don't feel like a lot of effort was put into the George Romero stuff. It's basically George Romero is introducing these three horror stories, kind of like, you know, I don't know, the way they did it, though, it's like him sitting in his living room in his chair, and it's, you know, they did this thing with the TVs to try and make it look like it was something different than it was. It's pretty much just him, probably filmed it himself, with a HD camera, just sitting in his living room introducing these stories that he could make way better things than... I mean, you know, they're not horrible, but, you know, I don't know. It just, the way it was put together, it's got this real... I mean, this is kind of cool. but I don't know. I don't really understand why George Romero, like, introduced it the cheap way he did, just sitting in his couch like, next story is this. It's like there was nothing to it. I don't know. And the stories, the one was about this guy who found a part of a mermaid, and the guy's like, for God's sakes, don't put them back together. You'll never be the same again. And, you know, it was interesting. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's not amazing. Then the next one I got on Blu-ray, I think it was $10 at Walmart. And I always liked this one. And it's Adam Sandler and Damon Wayans in Bulletproof. And basically, Damon Wayans and Adam Sandler, you know, are both these friends. But you've basically, you know, 20 minutes in the movie, you find out that Damon Wayans was pretending basically to be Adam Sandler's friend. He worked for the cops, and he was basically undercover being his friend for a year, and, you know, trying to get information about this big drug dealer. And, you know, I've always thought this was a pretty funny movie. I always like Adam Sandler's movies, and I always have been a huge fan of Damon Wayans, you know, from everything from Blank Man to, you know, Bamboozled, which I thought he was great in that movie. But, you know, in this one, you know, they did really become friends, so he kind of felt bad about having to turn him in and stuff. And then Adam Sandler accidentally shoots Damon Wayans at one point, and then Damon Wayans' character hates him. It's interesting. Then they have to go on this kind of quest to get back and stuff. It's definitely funny, though. I've always liked it. The next one I got is The Reef, and I always love these, you know, out in the middle of nowhere, you know, shark movies. They did the one, I always blank on what I'm trying to talk about right now, but the one they did recently in the river, it's, you know, the ocean, open sea or whatever. I'm totally blanking on the goddamn name. I always do that. The second I come out here, I forget what it's called. But, you know, the other one they did recently about the two people out there, and it was shot with just, you know, like regular HD cameras. But this one is about a group of people, and I think it's Australia. They go out on a kind of a fancy little yacht, you know, for just a day out on the ocean. And they basically end up hitting a coral reef thing and getting a huge hole in the boat. And they have to figure out what they're going to do. I think there's four of them. I think there's four of them, I think. And the one refuses, who's basically the captain of the boat, doesn't want to get in the water because he knows what's out there. But the other three, I think it's three. The other four end up going out and swimming, trying to find an island, because they saw one not too far back, but, you know, they don't know where they're going. They end up swimming out there, and then they end up running into a great white. And it's basically them trying to get away from the thing. And it's very, very well done. They actually used real shark footage and mixed it in really well. And I actually found it to be pretty creepy. Very, you know, some of these ones, you know, are creepier than others. And this one, Open Water, in the movie, I thought that this one was a lot creepier to me than Open Water. The next one is Insidious, which I've said before is, you know, I very rarely see a movie that I actually think is creepy. You know, it's not like scary like you're gonna, like, you know, totally creeped out, but it comes across pretty creepy. You know, like things like The Ring, the original Ring, and The Grudge, and those things like that. That kind of creepy level. And it's about this kid that ends up haunted, you know, spirits inside of him. And, you know, they have to try and get the spirit out. And Lynn Shay is in it. Lynn Shay is amazing in the movie. And it's basically, you know, it's got a feel of things like Poltergeist and things like that. And, you know, just everything about this was so creepy. If you have not seen this one, if you're thinking, I don't know about this, it's definitely one to totally check out. The next one, and if these aren't opened, I've seen them in theaters. That's how I'm still talking about them. Take Me Home Tonight. Now, and I cannot remember, like, when I think about this, the one line I think I just remember more than anything is, can't you allow yourself to have one night of fun? Just one night? That's all I remember at the moment. And then I got Season 2 of The Colony. I've seen a few episodes of this on TV. I love the first season of this, but it's basically about a group of people that have to, like, try and survive the end of the world. So they have to basically, you know, find food and things like that. It was a very good first season. Hopefully Season 2 of it is as good. Now, this show I really liked. Now, I ran into such a difficult time getting the first season of this thing. The first season like I ordered it a month ago or something, then it never came, so I had to go through all this thing with Amazon, one of the sellers, to try and get it. It was a nightmare. Finally, I ended up getting it, though, sent. And it's Survivor Man. I got season 1 and 2. And I like this show. It's about this guy who basically just goes out in the middle of the wilderness, and, he goes out to, like, the Arctic and mountains and the desert, and has to survive out there on his own with the camera for a week. There's just something about it I like. Like, it's something I would never personally do. The fat guy's never going to go out in the middle of nowhere by himself. I'd probably be dead in a day. But, it's cool to watch. I like it. I think the guy's pretty cool. I think he did a new one recently with him and somebody else. Now, this is a show I never thought would have made it to DVD. Hey Dude. It made it to DVD before Salute Your Shorts and before any of those other ones, which is surprising how this is the first to make it out. And it's about a group of kids on a dude ranch and stuff. It was a fun show. It wasn't ever my favorite of them, but it's a classic Nick show, so I'm like, yeah, I get it. But I never loved it. I kind of wish that this could morph into Salute Your Shorts, which I liked a lot better. And then I got this for like $3. I always buy these, random sets. It's Rare Cult Cinema, and it's got a bunch of different movies on it. And I always get those sets. And this was on sale for $10. Lucy Season 3, and this has that redecorating the Mertz apartment episode that I really liked. With Lucy, I always had specific episodes that I loved, like rebuilding the barbecue. I don't know if it was because I watched them as a kid, I just remember them. I don't know, it's just ones that I always liked. And then, like, the last ones I got were an 8-movie collection pack, and Dennis the Menace Season 2. And I just recently met Dennis the Menace, the actor who played him, at the Hollywood Autograph Show in Burbank. That's a very good show. And there's lots of... Oh, shit, everything fell. But it's a pretty good show. But I'll show you now the ones that I got that I didn't get to show. Now, this is put here to mark so I stand in the right spot. Now, these are all going to be in the next update. Stakeland, Yellow Brick Road, Scream of the Banshee, The Man Who Collected Food, Death Stop Holocaust, Life During Wartime, Trust, Wastewood. See, I got a lot. The Tenant, Blood Knight, Cyrus, and those are just some random other things. So those will be in the future updates. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you guys later.